In 1943, a woman named Margaret burst into Edgar Cayce's office in Virginia Beach, tears streaming from her eyes. For 3 consecutive months, she had been plagued by the same unsettling dream of soaring over ancient pyramids while hearing voices in an unfamiliar language. She feared she was losing her sanity, but when Cayce entered his renowned trance and tapped into her Akashic record during reading 2536, his insights transformed her understanding of reality. What Cayce disclosed about Margaret's dreams not only clarified her visions, but also revealed a spiritual ability so profound that it would eventually enable her to become one of the most precise psychic healers of her time. Prepare to be amazed. The dream patterns that Cayce noted in Margaret's case have been documented in more than 400 readings within the archives of Edgar Cayce. If you've experienced dreams of flying to ancient locations or hearing enigmatic voices, it's possible you are undergoing a similar spiritual awakening as those Cayce described in many of his insightful readings. Take a moment to reflect on your most intense recurring dream, the one that feels more vivid than reality itself. This is the dream you're hesitant to share with anyone, as it appears too odd or far-fetched. In the upcoming moments, I will reveal exactly what Edgar Cayce uncovered about these dreams and explain why they may be the strongest indication that your soul is attempting to convey something remarkable about your spiritual journey. If this strikes a chord with you, go ahead and press that subscribe button and activate the notification bell, because we are going to explore some of the most well-documented and transformative spiritual insights in American history. Also, feel free to leave a comment sharing your most intriguing recurring dream. I pay attention to every single one, and your story could assist someone else in grasping their own spiritual path. But first, allow me to share details about reading 136-18, during which Cayce made a profoundly surprising remark about dreams and spiritual gifts that fundamentally altered how countless individuals perceived their own consciousness. Edgar Cayce was in his profoundest trance state, with his stenographer Gladys Davis frantically noting his words as he began to outline what he referred to as the soul's communication system. Cayce asserted that each individual receives spiritual guidance through their dreams. However, only those whose spiritual abilities are awakened can recall and clearly interpret these messages. In reading 136-18, he clarified that some dream patterns are not mere random neural activities while we sleep. Instead, they represent your soul receiving direct transmissions from what he referred to as the universal consciousness, or the Akashic records. Now, here comes the fascinating part. Cayce outlined 7 distinct categories of dreams that signify an active spiritual gift, and I will share all 7 with you, including documented examples that validate their precision. Hold on until you discover the 3rd category of dreams mentioned here. It pertains to experiencing yourself in historical civilizations, and when Cayce explored these dreams via the Akashic records, his findings regarding reincarnation and soul memory will profoundly change your perception of your own identity. Margaret's dreams of flying were, in fact, the initial type that Cayce identified as indicative of a spiritual gift. Across more than 200 readings, he elucidated that dreams involving flight, levitation, or any form of movement unbound by physical constraints reflect the soul's remembrance of its essence as pure consciousness. These are not merely dreams born from anxiety or desires. It's your spirit recalling its boundless nature prior to taking on a physical form. However, Cayce uncovered something that surprised him. Individuals who frequently experience flying dreams tend to gain the capacity to tap into knowledge that goes beyond their physical senses while they are awake. On the subject of Margaret, whom I referenced earlier, she started having prophetic insights just 6 months after grasping her flying dreams. She successfully foresaw 3 significant events in her family and even assisted in finding a missing child in her area, utilizing the same heightened awareness she initially encountered in her dreams. In his readings 136 to 83, Cayce described how dreams of flying stimulate what he referred to as the spiritual centers within the body, especially known in Eastern traditions as the crown chakra. When these energy points are activated during dreams, they establish channels for psychic insights to enter our conscious awareness while we are awake. The second kind of dream that signifies spiritual abilities involves water in its various manifestations, such as rivers, oceans, rain, floods, or even the experience of being submerged. In reading 262.9, Cayce disclosed that dreams about water symbolize the soul's connection to the universal stream of consciousness. But here's the part that might send chills down your spine. Cayce noted that individuals who often dream of water tend to cultivate healing abilities, especially what he referred to as magnetic healing, achieved through touch. Take, for instance, the example of James Thompson from Ohio, mentioned in reading 1947-3. Since his early years, James had been dreaming of swimming in pristine rivers. Upon seeking Cayce's advice in 1932, the reading indicated that James had a unique talent for channeling healing energy via his hands. After receiving guidance from Cayce, James initiated the practice of the healing methods outlined in his reading. In just 2 years, he had effectively assisted more than 50 individuals with a range of health issues, all carefully recorded in the archives of the Edgar Cayce Foundation. However, there's an intriguing aspect concerning water dreams that Cayce uncovered, which directly ties to age-old spiritual traditions and sheds light on why numerous indigenous groups regard water as sacred in healing rituals. In reading 281-4, Cayce noted that water symbolizes the fundamental source of all existence, and when the soul dreams of water, it taps into cellular memories stemming from humanity's earliest spiritual encounters. This connection often compels people who have water dreams to establish healing spaces, pursue counseling roles, or engage in careers aimed at helping others achieve emotional and spiritual rejuvenation. Now, let's explore the third category of dream that significantly changed Cayce's perspective on reincarnation and the purpose of the soul. Visions involving ancient cultures, eras you haven't explored, or discovering yourself amidst intricate temples and rites in unknown traditions. In 1925, an entrepreneur named David Kahn approached Cayce, troubled by dreams that were upending his life. Every night, David envisioned himself traversing a vast temple complex, donned in robes and engaged in healing rituals alongside countless others. The structures were beyond anything he had previously encountered, featuring crystalline formations and geometric designs that appeared to emit their own illumination. A pragmatic individual, David operated a thriving printing business in New York, and the logic of these dreams eluded him completely. However, when Cayce entered into a trance and accessed David's life reading 257249, the revelations that came forth were so intricate and precise that they astonished everyone present, including Cayce himself upon reviewing the transcript later. The reading indicated that David had existed in Atlantis during what Cayce referred to as the second phase of its civilization, roughly 12,000 years ago. In that past life, he served as a priest in the Temple of Healing, where enlightened beings utilized crystal technology and sound vibrations to treat both physical issues and spiritual blockages. The dreams were not mere figments of imagination. They represented David's soul recalling its previous experiences and striving to reignite those healing capabilities in his current existence. However, the subsequent events demonstrate the authenticity of what Cayce was tapping into through his readings. Acting upon the insights from his session, David started to delve into the healing practices outlined by Cayce during his lifetime in Atlantis. He explored methods involving crystals, sound therapy, and energy work. In just 6 months, David cultivated such potent healing skills that individuals began to come from various states seeking his treatments. He recorded more than 300 successful healing sessions, with numerous cases involving ailments deemed untreatable by conventional medical professionals. This was not just a coincidence or a mere placebo effect. It represented a soul reconnecting with and activating skills cultivated through various lifetimes, initially sparked by dreams that many would consider insignificant. In his readings, specifically 364.3, Cayce noted that dreams concerning ancient civilizations arise when the soul is poised to recover gifts and insights from earlier existences. These dreams serve as preparatory phases, during which the unconscious begins to assimilate knowledge and talents that the conscious self will soon require for its spiritual purpose in the current lifetime. The fourth category of spiritually meaningful dreams entails interactions with departed loved ones or spiritual mentors. However, what Cayce uncovered fundamentally alters our perception of these experiences. In reading 136:18, he pointed out that not every dream featuring the deceased constitutes true spiritual communication. Nonetheless, when a deceased individual imparts specific knowledge, reveals locations unfamiliar to you, or teaches skills you lack in your waking life, these dreams signify genuine engagement with the spiritual dimension. In Virginia Beach, Mary Patterson experienced a sequence of dreams involving her grandmother, who had died 5 years prior. In these visions, Mary's grandmother showed her how to create herbal remedies from plants and mixtures that were unfamiliar to Mary. During a consultation with Cayce in reading 1567-2, he affirmed that her grandmother was genuinely reaching out from the spiritual world, and that Mary possessed a natural healing ability inherited from multiple generations of women in her lineage. Following the guidance from her grandmother's dreams, Mary started crafting the herbal solutions she had learned about. The outcomes were so impressive that news quickly circulated through the community. Mary's herbal concoctions provided relief for individuals facing digestive problems, skin ailments, and nervous disorders. A number of local physicians started to send patients her way, and her contributions were recorded in the medical archives of the Edgar Cayce Foundation. However, wait until you learn about the fifth category of dreams. This one exposes aspects of prophecy and future occurrences that could profoundly alter your perception of time. Dreams that depict forthcoming events, natural catastrophes, or significant global shifts exemplify what Cayce referred to as prophetic abilities. In the reading 294-311, he clarified that certain souls are born with a unique mission to act as early warning systems for humanity, receiving insights about impending difficulties to help people prepare both practically and spiritually. Take, for instance, the well-documented case of Eleanor Walsh, who began experiencing visions of a severe economic downturn in 1928, well over a year prior to the stock market crash of 1929. In her visions, she witnessed banks shutting down, individuals queuing for bread, and families being displaced from their homes. Upon consulting Cayce during reading 257-138, he affirmed that Eleanor was indeed receiving authentic prophetic insights and recommended that her family liquidate their investments to brace for hard times ahead. Heeding Cayce's counsel, Eleanor's family transformed their assets into gold and tangible goods. When the Great Depression struck, they were among the few families in their community that retained financial stability throughout the ordeal. Eleanor continued to experience prophetic dreams over her lifetime, accurately foretelling numerous regional natural disasters and assisting many families in preparing for difficult situations. The sixth type of spiritually influential dreams features healing situations in which you find yourself being healed by enigmatic figures or engaging in healing activities on behalf of others. In reading 281.4, Cayce noted that these dreams typically emerge when the soul is getting ready to unleash healing capabilities, or when there's a need for spiritual healing that hasn't yet become evident in physical form. Robert Chen from California experienced recurrent dreams where he was reclined on a table, encircled by luminous beings who were tending to his body with their hands and what seemed like beams of colored light. Each time he woke up, Robert felt an overwhelming sense of energy and tranquility. Yet he was puzzled about the meaning behind these experiences. When he obtained his reading 1968-1 from Cayce, the insight provided was truly enlightening. Before entering this lifetime, Robert sought healing for his persistent digestive issues, and those figures in his dreams were, in fact, spiritual healers working on his energy body during his sleep. Cayce recommended that Robert start practicing meditation and energy healing techniques to aid this spiritual healing journey. Following Cayce's advice, Robert saw his digestive problems fully alleviated within 3 months. More significantly, he realized that he could channel the same healing energy he encountered in his dreams to assist others. Over the following decades, he evolved into a formidable energy healer, aiding hundreds of individuals. The seventh and most profound category of spiritually significant dreams features direct interactions with what Cayce referred to as the Christ consciousness, or divine intelligence. These dreams frequently involve a person of immense spiritual significance who provides you with specific insights regarding your life's purpose or imparts spiritual concepts that reshape your perception of reality. In 1931, a woman named Martha Johnson from Kentucky started experiencing dreams where she encountered a figure exuding tremendous love and wisdom, leaving her feeling utterly transformed upon waking. During these dreams, this entity enlightened her about consciousness's essence, the role of suffering, and the vital nature of serving others. The insights she gained were so deep that Martha felt compelled to write them down, ultimately filling multiple notebooks with spiritual knowledge that appeared to surpass her conscious comprehension. When she sought the advice of Cayce in reading 1152-11, he affirmed that she was indeed receiving direct messages from the highest realms of spiritual consciousness. He described how Martha was selected to act as a conduit for profound spiritual teachings intended to assist individuals during a significant period of spiritual awakening on the planet. For more than 2 decades, Martha continued to receive these insights, ultimately establishing a spiritual study group that drew seekers from all over the nation. Several of the principles she encountered in her dreams were subsequently corroborated by contemporary research in quantum physics and consciousness studies. However, Cayce also revealed captivating insights about these various types of dreams that can radically change your perspective on your own spiritual growth. In reading 136-46, Cayce clarified that these dreams of spiritual importance do not manifest randomly. They arise when the soul attains a particular level of spiritual readiness, ready to activate the latent abilities it has gathered over numerous lifetimes. Dreams act as a connection between the limitless spiritual wisdom of the soul and the restricted conscious awareness of the personality. However, Cayce emphasized that possessing such gifts entails significant responsibility. In reading 254-68, he pointed out that spiritual abilities should be utilized to serve others rather than for personal advantage or to boost one's ego. Individuals who exploit their spiritual talents for selfish purposes may notice those abilities diminishing over time, whereas those who focus on assisting others will see their gifts becoming more robust and precise. If you have identified your own dream experiences within any of these 7 categories, Cayce offered specific advice on how to enhance and develop these spiritual abilities. To start, maintain a dream journal where you meticulously record every detail you can recall as soon as you wake up. Cayce highlighted in reading 136-1 that documenting your dreams indicates to the subconscious that you are prepared to receive and engage with spiritual insights. Next, initiate each day with meditation and prayer, seeking direction on how to utilize your spiritual abilities to assist others. In reading 281-13, Cayce noted that consistent spiritual practices establish clear pathways for divine guidance to enter your awareness. Lastly, explore the spiritual principles that resonate with your unique gifts. If you experience healing dreams, consider exploring energy healing and natural therapies. For those having prophetic dreams, delve into the interpretation of spiritual symbols and the concept of timing. Cayce repeatedly highlighted the importance of cultivating spiritual gifts through committed study and practice. Additionally, seek opportunities to assist others with your developing skills. Whether it's through offering healing energy, giving intuitive insights, or sharing prophetic messages, Cayce believed that engaging in loving service enhances the strength of your spiritual gifts. Ultimately, seek out connections with other individuals who possess spiritual gifts, as they can nurture your growth and assist you in comprehending your experiences. The Edgar Cayce Foundation in Virginia Beach remains a valuable source of resources and community for those working on their spiritual skills, guided by Cayce's teachings. However, there's a crucial insight that Cayce shared regarding spiritual gifts, which is relevant regardless of whether you've had those specific types of dreams. In reading 262-89, Cayce mentioned that every individual has spiritual abilities, yet many fail to uncover them because they regard their intuitive insights as mere imagination or coincidences. The dreams I've mentioned represent just one avenue through which spiritual gifts reveal themselves. Your abilities might emerge as sudden insights, physical feelings when near certain individuals, or intense emotional responses to locations and events that seem to hold spiritual importance. The essential part is to learn to trust your intuition and be open to exploring the spiritual aspects of your experiences, even when they don't align with traditional views of reality. As we wrap up, I want you to realize that if you've experienced any of these types of dreams, you are neither odd nor peculiar. You are part of an increasing number of individuals whose souls are awakening to their spiritual purpose during this pivotal period in human development. Edgar Cayce foresaw that the latter part of the 20th century and the dawn of the 21st century would usher in a significant spiritual awakening. He believed that a multitude of souls with heightened spiritual capabilities would incarnate during this time to assist humanity in facing upcoming challenges and seizing new opportunities. Your dreams may serve as an initial indication that your soul is beginning to recall its true identity and the reasons for its presence during this remarkable phase in human history. If this video has shed light on your own spiritual experiences, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who may benefit from this message. Your experiences might be the insight another person needs to comprehend their own spiritual path. Also, don't forget to subscribe and activate the notification bell so you stay updated on our latest explorations of Edgar Cayce's remarkable legacy and its implications for your spiritual growth. Please leave a comment below and share your most impactful dream experience. Have you encountered any of the 7 categories of spiritually significant dreams we talked about today? Your contributions help foster a community where we can learn from one another's spiritual journeys and encourage each other's development. Keep in mind, as Edgar Cayce noted, that every dream is a treasure from your soul to your waking mind. The real question is not whether you possess spiritual talents. The inquiry is if you are prepared to acknowledge them, cultivate them, and apply them for the greater benefit of everyone. Wishing you beautiful dreams, and may the wisdom of your soul lead you to the remarkable spiritual treasures hidden within you, awaiting your discovery.